What is going on, YouTube? Tom here, and yes, if y'all haven't seen the news, because it's pretty much already been big news, there's a report going around that Chevy will be killing off the Camaro after the 6th generation. Basically, they were in development of a 7th generation, and it is allegedly going to be canceled. Unfortunately, this might mean the end of the Camaro again. So, a lot of people know through history they killed off the Camaro once before in 2002, basically due to low sales. Well, unfortunately, it looks like it might be happening again because sales of the 6th gen have been effectively just disappointing. Now, of course, I wanted to talk about that today. This is kind of another video. It's another low-hanging fruit video. The last video I made on the Camaro was about this new LT1 trim that's going to come out. It's going to be the entry-level V8 model. And that video has done reasonably well on this channel. So it's like, man, Chevy went from coming out with this new cheap model that's supposed to take over, it's supposed to increase the sales for the Camaro, all of a sudden to just killing it. That's kind of actually a disappointment, in my opinion. But let's talk about kind of why, what would lead Chevy to kill it. Why are they going to do it, and what are some of these factors to do it? So let's talk about some of these reasons why the Camaro is hurting. So, and I made another video a while ago about the Dodge Challenger actually moving into the number 2 spot in sort of the American muscle category. So basically, the always number 2 Camaro is now number 3 in this category. There's only 3 cars in the category, but to be last in your class is not good. So the sales numbers don't lie. And then I made the whole video talking about the Challenger and why that's number 2. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out that video. But basically, as I determined, my honest opinion on this, the reason it's going to outsell the Camaro is because people don't want a sports car necessarily when they're buying a muscle car. You just want to make V8 noises. Myself included. That's why I really bought a Mustang. I don't care about going fast. I don't care that if this car is faster than some other car, it makes V8 noises in traffic, and it looks cool. I drive around, got my sunglasses on. I think I'm cool driving this car. So, and that's what most people really want. They just want to be cool. They want to be the cool kid with the loud car. It just makes V8 noises. That's it. And the Camaro, while it is the best sports car out of the bunch, according to all the Chevy fanboys, it's the worst overall car. And I think that's what really hurts it. It's cramped on the inside. It's not as pleasant to drive. To me, the sound just isn't there from a stock Camaro. And then, on top of that, the price has always been high. So, I mean, yes, they did come out with the LT1 to try to fix that. But to me, it's just too little too late. The sales numbers, just plain and simple, don't lie. And then, for 2019, they decided to do a facelift. And, I mean, come on, Chevy. What designer signed off on that? The facelifted Camaro is just hideously ugly. I mean, even the previous, 6th gen model, the pre-facelift 6th gen, even that, I don't think it's winning any styling contests. I mean, it's not a bad-looking car. It's by no means, it's not the Aztec, but it's just the proportions are weird. The visibility is still bad from the 5th gen, but it's just overall. Even the trunk opening is really small on a Camaro, and again, most people are driving these as daily drivers. They need a decent-sized trunk. And, it's not, having a decent-sized trunk, you can't even use because of the trunk opening. Versus the Mustang and the Challenger, which are easily daily drivable. But the 6th gen just has not been as good. They said sales have been declining since 2016. Now, the 5th gen, let's talk about that, because that was a success for Chevy. Now, styling-wise, when the 2010 came out, I personally didn't like it, but it's actually grown on me. In fact, nowadays, I actually think it's probably the best looking of the late model Camaros to come out. Now, it was bold from GM at the time when really the other American car companies were not making bold. They were making pretty dull cars. 2010 Chevy, like, name another 2010 Chevy. I mean, they're all pretty dull, like the Impala, the Malibu, all of that. They were rental cars at the time. That's all anyone ever bought a Chevy for. Nowadays, you know, they've tried to get a little bit better. They're still not the best, I don't think, but they've tried a little bit better. And these days, now 2019, Chevy has been overstyling their cars. Nowadays, they're too bold. I think they missed the mark because of that. And, like, Camaro's no exception. So the 5th gen was the sales success, also because you had this pent-up demand for the Camaro nameplate. Like, they hadn't done a Camaro since 2002. The decision to put the Camaro back into production actually came from the 2006 concept. Basically, everyone loved it so much that Chevy decided to make it. Then they turned around and put the Camaro in the Michael Bay film, Transformers. Basically, if you were around in that era, 2007, if you were aware of cars, you knew the 5th gen Camaro as Bumblebee. Chevy even capitalized on that movie role and did a Bumblebee edition, or I should say Transformers edition. They basically put those Autobot badges on from the factory, and it was a success. Capitalize on that marketing and really get the success out. Really capitalize on what people know your car from. And I think that was a success for Chevy. Problem is, the 6th gen, they haven't done that as much. Yes, they made Bumblebee into a 6th gen for the later films, but even the Transformers franchise has been kind of flopping in the last couple of years. But the problem is they haven't really done much with advertising in the Camaro either. And globally speaking, the Camaro has just been falling flat globally. As other people know, with the 2015 Mustang, when the S550 came out, Ford decided to go ahead and make a factory Europe version. Basically, you can now have which they later sold in Australia and the Middle East, all of these big markets that prefer big V8 cars. So now all of a sudden, instead of just having a car that's produced only for America, now you can get it in the rest of the world. And the Mustang has been a lot like the 65 Mustang. The S550 around the world has been a runaway sales success. People love it. They do right-hand drive for the first time. And Chevy, they just haven't. So I think Chevy is shooting themselves in the foot by not offering that from the factory. By allowing the aftermarket to take on that role, it ruins it. So, you don't see them in Australia. Where the Mustang, they offer it as a factory right-hand drive made to standard. It's been a success. You see way more Mustangs here for the same reason. It's just a better overall car. Now, personally, I don't necessarily see Chevy killing off the Camaro. While I still think they probably might, I do think they probably will reintroduce it later, the 7th gen. They might skip a few years, but I don't see them permanently killing off the nameplate. One, we saw with history. They didn't kill it off after 2002. It came back for 2010. Yes, it took a few years off, but the demand was there right when they brought it back up. Sales were high. In fact, 2010 was the only year the Camaro ever outsold the Mustang. But that kind of brings me up to the point. The second reason I don't see Chevy killing it off is that if you kill it off, you're removing a source of competition in the market. So 2010, that being the last year for the 3-valve, it's no surprise to me that the Mustang took back over for 2011, because guess what motor came out in 2011? The Coyote. So yes, I think that it would be a mistake to kill off the Camaro because you remove that competition for the market. And on top of that, the other nameplate for Chevy, the other V8 car that Chevy produces, is the Corvette. Well, the Corvette is supposed to be going to a mid-engine platform for the C8, as a lot of people know. If you haven't heard that, you probably live under a rock. So if it's going to go to a mid-engine platform, it's going to go up in price. And the problem is, if it goes up in price, that's a big demand that's just simply not going to be met. Instead of that $34,000 LT1, the base model V8 Chevy car will be the $80,000 Corvette Stingray. And that right there, I think, is going to be a big mistake. If that's a whole niche of a market that's going to die. And those people who want it, who aren't necessarily going to be brand specific, they're going to have to shop for either a Mustang or a Challenger. And some people just don't want to do that. So I think you're going to lose a lot of customers from GM at that point. And unfortunately, we don't have Pontiac anymore, because a lot of people know the late 2000s, that was kind of a golden era for Pontiac. You had the GTO, and then later you had the G8. Before they killed off Pontiac, they were going to bring over the Holden Maloo as a G8 Ute. So, I mean, we were going to get all sorts of amazing cars from Pontiac. And, of course, when they brought back the Camaro, there was a big rumor immediately, oh, man, they're going to bring back the Firebird and the Trans Am, which has simply never happened because Pontiac died. Now, we don't have any other GM brands to kind of fill that slack. So, I just don't see it happening for that reason. But I'm not always known to be right. I might be wrong about that. They might actually be killing the Camaro off for good this time. Hopefully not, just because there have been Camaros that have been good. I mean, the ZL1. When the car's so good that Ford has to turn around and come out with a 760 horsepower Mustang to compete. It's like, to me, that's gonna be sad. It's gonna be a sad day when they kill that off. But let me know in the comment section below what you think about all of that. How many of you are actually sad for the demise of the Camaro if it even gets killed off? How many of you will be sad? How many of you, well, really could care less? Because unfortunately, sales numbers are proving to me a lot of you probably could care less. But anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. More content coming on all this. I do like to bring you all the news. These videos always do seem to do well for the channel, and kind of it produces a worthwhile discussion. But anyway, take care, have a good day.